On the 11th of March 1905, Gertrude Bell, British traveler and archaeologist, rode westward out of the Syrian city of Homs. Though her next destination was Hama, which lay north, she chose instead to veer west into the Alawite Mountains, drawn by the promise of ancient fortresses perched high above the Mediterranean Sea. The local governor provided Bell with an escort for the next stage of her journey. It was a telling example of the ethnic and religious mosaic that made up Ottoman Syria. She traveled through Arab lands under Turkish rule, accompanied by Sunni Kurdish troops, in the company of Syrian Ismaili prisoners being taken to Tripoli.
I turned to make the acquaintance of the companions with whom the Kaymakam had provided me. 2 of them were free and 2 were bound. The first 2 were Kurdish zaptis. One was charged to show me the way to Kalat al-Husn, and the other to guard over the second pair of my fellow travelers, a couple of prisoners. They were clad, poor wretches, in ragged cotton clothes and handcuffed together.
The prisoners, Bell soon learned, were from the nearby town of Salamiyah, located just 50 kilometers northeast of Homs. Known in Arab lore as the Mother of Cairo, Salamiyah was the birthplace of Al-Qaim bi-Amr Allah, the second Fatimid caliph and son of Al-Mahdi Billah, the dynasty's founder. The Fatimids, Ismaili Shias, would go on to conquer Egypt, establish their capital in Cairo, and rule over much of North Africa and the Middle East for 2 centuries. Long after Cairo flourished into a great metropolis, Salamiyah remained a quiet reminder of Syria's foundational role in the birth of the Fatimid state. Today, it continues to hold that legacy, being home to the largest population of Ismailis in the Arab world. To the Zaptiya, however, the prisoners were not historical emissaries, but heretics.
They are deserters from the Sultan's army. May God reward them according to their deeds. Moreover, they are Ismailis from Salamiyah, and they worship a strange god who lives in the land of Hind. And some say she is a woman, and for that reason they worship her. And every year she sends an embassy to this country to collect the money that is due to her. And even the poorest of the Ismailis provide her with a few piastres. And yet, they declare that they are Muslims. Who knows what they believe?
Ismailis had long lived on the fringes of empire, tolerated by the Ottomans and mistrusted by their Sunni neighbors. Yet in the most unexpected places, even in chains on the road to Tripoli, their loyalty to a distant imam held firm. The Agha Khan, 48th Imam of the Nizari Ismailis, ruled no territory, commanded no army, and yet for his followers, he remained a sovereign. From his base in British India, he presided over a global religious network that stretched from the Levant to East Africa and Central Asia. It was the prisoners who opened the conversation with Bell, asking if she had traveled to India.
Have you heard there of a great king called the King Muhammad? I was able to reply in the affirmative, and even to add that I myself knew him and had conversed with him. For their King Muhammad was no other than my fellow subject, the Agha Khan, and the religion of the prisoners boasted a respectable antiquity, having been founded by him whom we call the Old Man of the Mountain. They were the humble representatives of the dreaded and probably maligned sect of the Assassins.
In the 12th century, during the height of the Crusades, the Old Man of the Mountain, Rashid al-Din Sinan, Ismaili leader in Syria, ruled from the mountaintop fortress of Masyaf, nestled above the Orontes valley. To Crusaders, he was a menace cloaked in mystery. To Sunni rulers, a heretic too dangerous to ignore. Known formally as the Sheikh al-Jabal, or Mountain Chief, Sinan commanded a network of fiercely loyal devotees, skilled in infiltration, assassination, and psychological warfare. His legend spread across Europe and the Muslim world, giving rise to Western tales of the assassins. But the modern Agha Khan was no mountain mystic. He was a British subject, living in colonial India and moving in the social circles of Bombay, London, and Cairo.
The Agha Khan is something of a great king in the modern sense, that is to say, he is exceedingly wealthy. It would have been difficult to explain to his disciples exactly what the polished, well-bred man of the world was like whom I had last met at a London dinner party, and who had given me the Marlborough Club as his address. Not that these things, if they could have understood them, would have shocked them. The Agha Khan is a law unto himself, and if he chose to indulge in far greater excesses than dinner parties, his actions would be sanctified by the mere fact that they were his. His father used to give letters of introduction to the angel Gabriel in order to secure for his clients a good place in paradise. The son, with his English education and his familiarity with European thought, has refrained from exercising this privilege, though he has not ceased to hold, in the opinion of his followers, the keys of heaven.
By sunset, Bell reached the formidable fortress of al-Husn, known to the Crusaders as Crac des Chevaliers. Originally built by local emirs, then expanded by the Knights Hospitaliers, the fortress rose like a crown above the surrounding valleys.
And so at sunset we came to the dark tower and rode through a splendid Arab gateway into a vaulted corridor built over a winding stair. At intervals we passed doorways leading into cavernous blackness. The stone steps were shallow and wide but much broken. The horses stumbled and clanked over them as we rode up and up, turned corner after corner, and passed under gateway after gateway, until the last brought us out into the courtyard in the centre of the keep.
The Hospitallers, unlike the more widely mythologized Templars, had begun in the 11th century, before the First Crusades, as caretakers of Christian pilgrims in Jerusalem. Over time, they evolved into a formidable military order, defending Crusader strongholds and building fortress monasteries along the frontiers of Latin Christendom.
The castle is the Crac of the Knights of Crusader Chronicles. It belonged to the Hospitallers, and the Grand Master of the Order made it his residence. The Egyptian Sultan Malik ed-Daha took it from them, restored it, and set his exultant inscription over the main gate. It is one of the most perfect of the many fortresses which bear witness to the strange jumble of noble ardour, fanaticism, ambition and crime that combine to make the history of the Crusades, a page whereon the Christian nations cannot look without a blush.
Sultan Malik, better known as Baybars al-Zahir, had been born a Kipchak Turk in the Central Asian steppe, captured by slave traders and sold into bondage in the Islamic world. Trained in the Mamluk military corps, he belonged to a warrior caste of enslaved boys who were converted to Islam, educated, and raised in elite military barracks. Baybars distinguished himself as a tactician and cavalry commander, playing a decisive role in the defeat of the Seventh Crusade at Al-Mansura in 1250. By 1260, he had seized the Sultanate for himself, becoming the most formidable Mamluk ruler of his age. His campaigns drove the Mongols back from Syria and checked the Crusader presence along the Levantine coast. In 1271, Baybars captured Crac des Chevaliers from the Knights Hospitaliers, ending 129 years of Crusader control. From Crac, Bell rode on to the nearby town of Safida, where a White Templar keep still stood above a mostly Christian village.
The keep, which we had seen from afar, is all that remains of the White Castle of the Knights Templars. It stands on the top of the hill with the village clustered at its foot, and from its summit are visible the Mediterranean and the northern parts of the Phoenician coast. The inhabitants of Safita are most of them Christians, and many speak English with a strong American accent picked up while they were making their small fortunes in the States. Besides the accent, they had acquired a familiarity of address that did not please me, and lost some of the good manners to which they had been born.
Moving on to Duraikish, Bell was welcomed by Riza Beg al-Abid, local sub-governor, and a cousin of Izzat Pasha al-Abid, the Syrian Arab, who had risen to extraordinary heights in the palace of Sultan Abdul Hamid II.
Riza Beg el-Abid owes his present position to the fact that he is cousin to Izzet Pasha. For there is not one of that great man's family, but he is, at least, Kaimakam. The family to which he and Izzet belong is of Arab origin. The members of it claim to be descended from the noble tribe of the Muwali, who were kin to Harun al-Rashid, and when you meet Izzet Pasha, it is as well to congratulate him on his relationship with that caliph, though he knows, and he knows also that you know, that the Muwali repudiate his claims with scorn and count him among the descendants of their slaves, as his name Abid, slave, may show. Slaves or freemen, the members of the Abid house have climbed so cleverly that they have set their feet upon the neck of Turkey and will remain in that precarious position until Izzet falls from favour.
Bell's words were prescient. In 1909, Izzet Pasha was ousted by the Young Turks during their rise to power and forced into exile, marking the end of his remarkable but tenuous influence in the Ottoman court. The day's hospitality had all the marks of official ceremony: a generous meal, fires prepared in advance, fresh lamb and poultry served in abundance. Bell believed she had been the guest of the local Kaimakam. But when the gathering dispersed and she was left alone with Mikhail, her trusted cook, a different truth emerged. With dry understatement, he revealed that the feast had been extracted, not offered.
You saw those fellahin of the Nosiria, the miserable ones who sold you antiques at the ruins this morning. They were your hosts. Everything you had was taken from them without return. They gathered the wood for the fires, the hens were theirs, the eggs were theirs, the lambs were from their flocks, and when you refused to take more, saying, "I have enough," the soldiers seized yet another lamb and carried it off with them, and the only payment the fellahin received were the metallics you gave them for their old money.
Bell's last stop in the Alawite Mountains was Masyaf, the fabled stronghold of Rashid al-Din Sinan, the Ismaili old man of the mountain. Its days of strategic power were over, but for nearly 2 centuries, Masyaf had served as the nerve center of a remarkable Ismaili enclave. From this remote fortress, the Nizaris carved out a zone of autonomy amid hostile Crusader states and rival Muslim dynasties, loyal to the Sunni Abbasid Caliphate. Through diplomacy, intelligence, and targeted violence, they survived in a landscape otherwise shaped by far larger and more powerful forces. Standing in the shadow of Masyaf's broken battlements, Gertrude Bell was poised on one of history's great frontiers, a landscape reshaped by successive empires, each leaving behind its own ruins. The Byzantines, Arabs, Crusaders, Ismailis, Mamluks, and Ottomans had all laid claim to this ground. In just over a decade, another empire, European this time, would draw new lines across the map. Masyaf, like so much of Syria, remained a fault line where the ambitions of nations and sects collided, and where history never rested for long.